Hey everybody, it's Chuck Dixon back again with Whatcha Readin. People ask me all the time, when you're not writing, what are you reading? And I guess they want to know from a point of view of a professional writer. I am a professional writer. What makes me a professional writer? I get paid to make stuff up. Let's get to the first book. Um, this is a series. It's illustrated by Don Lawrence. It's Storm, and it's a long-running series, science fiction series that I believe started in France, publication in France. But in Brazil, they put out these wonderful, oversized. They're almost the size of like one of the old Treasury editions. These wonderful, oversized editions of Storm. Of course, they're in Portuguese, and I can't read them. Um, but the thing about Storm is, I've read a few English editions, English language editions of Storm, and there's not a whole lot of story, or should I say, there's too much story. It's six of one, half a dozen of the other. The Storm is every sci-fi trope you can imagine, all thrown into one confusing basket. What I'm trying to say is these are great comics to look at. So it really doesn't matter that these editions are in a language I can't read because they're not, the story's not that more engaging in English. But boy, is the art beautiful! If you're seeing this, you can see Don Lawrence is just a master at uh, this brand of full color art that he did. I believe he used dyes, colored pencils. It's mixed media. I've seen some Don Lawrence originals, and they're very much, very often done in Dr. Martin dyes. The basic color layers are laid down that way, and because that's why that you got these eye popping, super vivid colors that even come through in publication. I don't know if you know this or not, but a lot of times what you see in publication is it's never as bright, it's never as crisp, it's never as um, contrasted, clearly contrasted as an original. I guess that's everybody knows that, right? There's only so much publication can do, but Don Lawrence very much painted these things vividly in bright colors. And my largest problem with the story is that there's not a lot of cinematographic storytelling because the writer doesn't leave Don Lawrence any room for it. Storm and Ember are the stalwart male and female heroes of this series, and they they face, well, what did I do there? They face one horrible situation after another, and escape by the skin of their teeth every time. But the thing is, the events come so quickly. The stories read almost like an extended trailer for a longer story. It's like the story doesn't slow down long enough to let you absorb what's going on, uh, which is my biggest complaint about this series. But like I said, it's just I bought all four volumes of this from the Brazilian publisher because they're just so beautiful to look at. Like I said, the editions, these they call them integrals or integrals. These collections they're enormous. They're huge and just beautiful to look at, beautifully reproduced. I guess from original printer proofs from when the series ran as a series of French albums. But this is worthy just because of the art to get a regular English translation of these books. But they probably do what they do here in the United States and shrink it down to standard American comic book format and lose all the charm and sweep and scale and spectacle of this just absolutely beautifully presented series, even though the story's dumb. Um, Now, another edition is not in a language that I read. This is a French collection of two monthly issues of Tex. And Tex stories every month are about 150 pages long in black and white. So this is like a 300-page story. And it's a good one. It's by Corrado. I'm not even going to try. Oh, man, his last name, he's got a really long Italian last name. Mastronato, Mastronato. I'm not sure. Corrado. Look for the name Corrado, and he's an artist that just fantastic. This guy can draw anything. He's as well known for his science fiction and Western work in Italy as he is for his Disney animated work. he's very good at drawing the Mickey, Donald, and Goofy type characters. And he's an artist that Sergio and Cariello and I very, very much admire. I have to confess that Sergio and I have a man crush on Corrado's artwork, and we seek it out whenever we can. In fact, this is what happened when there was like one book left at the comic shop that one of us discovered. Uh, these books are in black and white. Like I said, they're reproduced from the regular Tex Monthly, which is in black and white. And it's a really good story. And because it's a Western, uh, I can understand what's going on, even though it's in French. Um, and for the most part, the Tex and a buddy of his, whose name I have to guess is Devil Dick or Dick the Devil or Dick Devil. I don't. This guy, this bald guy with the mustache. Anyway, they get involved in the Kansas, Missouri border wars. And because Tex was sympathetic to the North, he sort of takes the side of Kansas, and Kansas, a Kansas militia that is going to bring justice to the slaveholders in Missouri. And Mauro Boselli wrote the story, and he's like the go-to guy now for Tex stories. And he writes really good stuff. He was my editor on my 3 Tex stories that I wrote for Benelli, and he accurately portrays the gray area of morality in the Kansas Missouri border wars. There really was no good guy here. It was, bandit gangs disguised as militia. They were reavers, they were looters, they were poachers, killers, and rapists on either side. And for whatever reason, Missourians hated Kansans and Kansans hated Missourians. And it was just a really ugly war. And in this story, Tex quickly learns it's not that he's on the wrong side. He would never support Missouri in this conflict, but he realizes the company he's keeping are a bunch of rat bastards. And he does what he can to take care of business, as Tex Willer always does. But just an awesome collection. And if you're looking at the art, you can see this guy's just simply a master storyteller, a master at the chiaroscuro artwork, black and white. He's also terrific in color, but he just, everything is period accurate. These locations and characters live and breathe under his pen and pencil. And the shootouts, Texas shootouts are, well, I've said this before. Tex Willer is the best Western comic ever, and it's the best Western comic in the world. And a lot of it is because of the attempt to be authentic and action packed. And the shootouts are marvelous. They're always wonderfully blocked out and evocative. And I wish they would translate more Tex into English here. Epicenter Comics here in the United States is putting out beautiful reprint editions of Tex. I just wish there was like one a month, because I just can't get me enough of Tex Willer. What a great comic. Now, next one up is The Ghost of Mumba Kei, written and drawn and directed by a young kid with a dream. You may have heard of him, Graham Nolan. And going into this, Graham's been doing a lot of self-publishing on his own, doing terrific work with the Nolanverse or the Monsterverse, whatever you want to call it. And this is the latest entry and possibly the most important entry in the series of books that he's done so far, because this one sort of ties everything together. If you've been following the Nolanverse, this is a must-have, because it ties the whole universe together, and not in a continuity heavy, Chris Claremont, Marv Wolfman kind of way, but in a very, very entertaining kind of way. But going into something like this, I've known Graham. He's, to say we're frequent collaborators is an understatement. And we've been partners on many, many projects, currently working on a new Joe Frankenstein together. And, when you get something, I'm sure my friends feel this way too. When you go to read something by a friend, you're like, it's weird because your friend wrote it and you know him. We don't personally know most of the people who write or draw or whatever, the entertainment that we consume. But no worries. I completely forgot Graham worked on it. I was utterly engaged in the story. And it's got everything you'd expect from a Graham Nolan story. It's got, fun, appealing characters. And it's got a sturdy plot. He kind of combines a procedural mystery. He's got Misty and Meathead are private investigators in Florida, and he kind of I think they're situated in Florida. Anyway, they go to Florida. They go to the Florida Keys to investigate this series of crimes and ghost sightings and disappearances and blah blah blah. And it sort of combines the haunted house or ghost genre with like a sturdy plot of a 1970s TV movie. And I mean that in the best possible way. There's a lot of attention here to keeping the plot clear and moving. Graham keeps the story moving, introduces lots of elements and engaging characters and subplots and all the rest of it. And it's what is going on with my images today? And like I say, Misty and Meathead are immediately relatable and likable and all the rest of it. And I dug it from beginning to end. He did an awesome job. If you know Graham's work, he's a tremendous storyteller, but he's a hell of a writer as well. And as I always say, the writer artist in comics is the purest form of comics. And also, like I said, if you've been following, if you've read Chanu and his other titles in this series, Monster Island, you're going to want to get this one because it really brings everything together. Now, the story is complete. It's not like you're left hanging on any of the main story elements. But at the end of the story, we sort of see the Nolanverse in a new way. Everything's opened up for us, and you learn a lot more about what you've been enjoying if you've been buying these books. And if you haven't been buying these books, why not? This is good, solid entertainment from a hardworking guy. And anyway, that's it. My highest recommendation. I also recommend, what is going on with my images today? I also recommend you buy a book I wrote. Levon Scourge is the 12th book in the Levon Kei series, and doing very well. People seem to like it. People are buying it. I like that. I like to see that. You should try it out too. If you like hard-hitting action, fast-paced stories, hard-boiled crime, this is the one for you. This is, summer's coming. Levon books make great beach reads. They're sand resistant. I don't know if they are. Of course they're not. It's made out of paper. Anyway, that's it for me. I'll read some more and I'll tell you about it somewhere down the road. Take her easy.